Before we begin, a quick note. This analysis is based entirely on publicly available ECI data. This is a student data analytics project. It carries no political opinions, no agenda, and no endorsement of any party or individual. The numbers are not mine, they belong to the data. So the goal was simple, let the data speak. So, alright, with that said, let's get into it. Hi everyone, I am Savita. Today I will be presenting my analysis of the Tamil Nadu 2026 Assembly Elections created as part of the Codebasics Resume Project Challenge. For this challenge, I worked with the election data published by the Election Commission of India and explored how the political landscape changed between 2021 and 2026. May 2026, Tamil Nadu goes to the polls, over 6 crore votes, 234 constituencies, and when the results came in, the map looked nothing like it did 5 years ago. Most people watched the election coverage. I opened the data, 4,257 rows, 3 stories hidden inside them. And today I'm going to show you exactly what I found. But before we get into those stories, let me show you the data and the approach behind this analysis. So I had a three data sets, 2021 results, 2026 results, and a constituencies master file. That's it. And no news articles, no exit polls, no opinions, just it's a raw ACI numbers. And six research questions were available. I picked three, not because they were the easiest, but because they connect into one complete story. So the first one, the geographic story. So it tells how did the map shift across Tamil Nadu's six regions. And second, the flip story, in how many seats did the winner actually change. And the third, the margin story, where this dominant wins or a leisure thin ones. So these three questions don't just sit next to each other, they build on each other. Where did it change? Who gained and who lost? And by how much did they win? So that is the spine of everything you are about to see. Now, before I take you into the stories, I need you to feel the scale of this election because these four numbers they set the tone for everything. Four numbers, each one earns its place on this slide. 234, every constituency in Tamil Nadu, every single one is in this analysis. 163 seats that change hands, that's your first gut punch number. Sit with that for a second. And 69.7%, that is the flip rate. Nearly 7 in every 10 seats went to a different party than in a 2021. Not a swing, not a shift, a near complete redraw of the map. And 16.8k, the average win margin in 2026. So that last one is interesting because in 2021, the average margin was 22,870 votes. In 2026, 16,800. So margin shrank. The election got closer, more, more contested. I'll come back to that, but keep it in a mind. Scale understood. Now let's go region by region, story one. And I promise you, this is where it gets interesting. So here is the story one, the geographic story. And the question I kept asking was, did Tamil Nadu shift as a one or did different regions move at a different speeds? Look at Chennai Metro. In 2021, one party dominated it. And in 2026, TVK took 91% of those same seats. The entire city flipped, not gradually, but overnight. And the second, the Congo region, TVK won 48% of seats, and a region where TVK had zero, literally zero presence in 2021. And South Tamil Nadu, the largest region by seat count, TVK won 26 of 58 seats there. And the wave hit hardest in the south. So here is what the data is telling us. This wasn't a selective. This wasn't a one pocket of Tamil Nadu that moved. Every region shifted just at a different intensities. And now I want to show you that a same story but head to head. 2021 on the left side and 2026 on the right side. So that is the next slide. So I honestly think it speaks for itself. Yes, same six regions, Same colors, left is a 2021 and right is a 2026. Pick any region, okay? Pick Chennai Metro, follow that row from left to right. Left side mostly one color and right side mostly a completely different color. That's not an incremental change, that is a replacement. So I built this comparison specifically because I wanted one slide where I didn't have to say anything, where you just look and you understand what happened. So geography is done. Now let's talk about the number that actually stopped me when I first pulled it from the data. So that is story 2 and this one hits different. So here is the story 2 that I mentioned. 163 seats change hands in one election. That is not a statistic I expected when I started this analysis. So look at who lost seats. DMK lost 93 seats they had won in 2021 and that is the largest loss of any single party. And AIDMK lost 44 and INC lost 14. Now look at who gained. So TVK 108 seats. Here is a thing that make that number extraordinary. TVK did not contest in 2021. Okay, and this wasn't a party that had been a slowly growing, building ground level presence, winning seats gradually over a multiple elections. But first election 108 seats. So that is not a trend, that is a wave. So we know where it changed and we know who gained and who lost. But here is the question I could not let go of. Were these wins comfortable or were people winning by a handful of votes? So that we can see it in a story 3 and honestly this is my favorite one. So here is the story 3 that is the margin story and this finding this is the finding that surprised me the most in this entire data set. Look at this distribution 234 seats sorted by how wide the winning margin was. The biggest single bucket 107 seats were owned by 5,000 to 15,000 votes. That's a moderate and competitive. These are not a landslides. These are seats that could have gone the other way with a different campaign or different day. And then the extremes. So Veppanahalli, the largest race in all of Tamil Nadu, and 138 votes. 138 in a constituency of tens of thousands of registered votes. A single classroom full of people could have changed who won that seat. And look at Edapadi, the opposite end, 98,000 votes, the most dominant win in this election. And sitting between those two extremes, the average margin fell from 22,870 in 2021 to 16,800 in 2026. So Tamil Nadu voted closer. More seats were genuinely in a play. The 2026 election was more contested than the one before it. So despite how decisive the overall picture looks. So now we got to know 3 stories. Check. But I had a one more question I could not walk away from. So Tamil Nadu has a 46 reserved constituencies. Did they move with the rest of the state or did they behave differently? So let's look. So reserved seats. So 46 reserved constituencies. So 44 for SC and 2 for ST. One question, did they vote differently? Because Gen seats flipped at 30.3% and SC seats flipped at 29.5%. That is almost 30%. That is identical. The wave did not spare reserved constituencies. They moved in a lockstep with the general seats, same direction, same intensity, and same rate of change. What this tells us is that the 2026 shift wasn't a concentrated in one category of seat. It was a structural across all seat types, across all 6 regions, across all reserved and general both. Now, I always believe that a good analyst should tell you not just what the data says, but also where it runs out. So here is my honest limitation slide, and I think this one actually matters more than people expect. So what this data cannot tell you, it cannot tell you why any of this happened, vote swings, alliance decisions, candidate choices, those are real factors, but they are outside the scope of ECI numbers. You will not find the word because in this entire analysis. I did not earn the right to use it. The 2026 data was sourced before the final Form 20 certification. Minor count variations may exist, and 2026 constituency turnout wasn't available in the source file. So I excluded that story entirely rather than build on an incomplete data. So every honest analysis has a boundary, and this is where mine ends. And I think naming that clearly is a part of the job. So all right, so data is done and the limitations are clear. Now here is the part I genuinely enjoyed building. If I were pitching this to a news network's content head right now in this room, here's exactly how I would tell them to structure their show. So if I were presenting this election story to a wide audience, I would focus on three key moments. The first, I would start with the number 163. A total of 163 seats changed hands compared to 2021. That single number immediately shows the scale of change in this election. And second, I would use the regional map before discussing party performance, because the map helps viewers understand where the political shifts happened across Tamil Nadu before looking at which parties gained or lost seats. And finally, I would end with Vepanahalli, where the winning margin was just 138 votes. For me, that is the most powerful number in the dataset, because it reminds us how a very small group of voters can influence an election outcome. So together, these three moments capture the scale, geography, and competitiveness of the 2020 election. And with that, we are at the end. So let me leave you with the three things. So three stories, one map, 234 constituencies. Behind every election result is a number, and behind every number is a story. And this dashboard tells three. So thank you for watching this presentation, and I look forward for your feedback and suggestions. And this is Savita signing off.